Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time I want to take a look at Teen Titans number 40 from 1972. From DC Comics, now only 20 cents. Oh, geez. And here are our main Titan characters is Robin, Kid Flash, Wonder Girl in the red costume. I like that costume. And Speedy. And here it is. Can you guess who is the Titans' former friend who turns out to be their worst enemy? Spawn of the Sinister Sea. Well, just with being C in the title, it gives you one guess. Okay, and this is written by Bob Haney, a writer who wrote a lot of good stuff for DC in the late 60s and 70s. Teen Titans, Superboy, Superman stuff, all kinds of Justice League, all kinds of good stuff. And here, I like this cover. This cover by Nick Cardy, or at least the inks are. Now, it's written by Bob Haney, as I said, with art by Nick Cardy and someone called Saaf, S-A-A-F, someone I'm completely unfamiliar with. And I think presumably he, did the pencils, and then Nick Cardy did the inks, because it really looks like Nick Cardy inks. But it's some nice artwork, nonetheless, as Nick Cardy did some really good stuff. And this was also the time when he was primarily doing covers for DC. So let's take a look. You can see this is a little worn, quite readable. It's well loved. Here we see a boat on the sea, and we see that it's got Titans, and then there are two divers down below with some netting. And that's on this fishing boat, and then we see it's the Titans. Now at this time, the Teen Titans had a civilian friend operating with them by the name of Mal. I know nothing about him. And they had a mentor by the name of Mr. Jupiter, and I know absolutely nothing about him, even though this is the time period in the Titans history that I really probably like best, in the 60s and early 70s, even though I have very little to represent that era. But what I do have, I really like. And it turns out they are in Scotland on a boat in Loch Ness, and they are here, have been pulled into a case regarding the Loch Ness monster, in which there have been a lot of sightings and some alleged attacks by the Loch Ness monster. And this double page kind of spoils it. And here we see the boat captain is Captain Duncan Kilcranky, and he is a cranky sort. And it goes, and they're discussing the Loch Ness monster, saying it's all myth and stuff. And he says, "I seen it myself." Says, "Oh, here comes the creature. He comes. The creature comes." I said it wrong. It says, and then they see what appears to be a medieval era ghost image, kind of dancing on the surface of the water. And then up from the depths, from below, comes, "'Tis him, the monster!" And it comes crushing up out of the water with the net in its jaws and wreaking havoc. Kid Flash grabs a harpoon and with his super speed hurls it with fantastic force, and cloosh! It's not a real monster. It's a fake, and the boat is in trouble, a little bit in trouble. So, what's behind all this? And then they see their divers down below, which was Mal and Robin. I forgot to mention that. Have surfaced. They're unconscious, and they pull them into the boat and save them just before they would have drowned. Then they see this other boat off in the distance chugging away, chuff, 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 chuff. And the captain takes out after him, but we can't gain on him. So Speedy uses his arrows, thunk, 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 basically making it impossible for them to steer the boat, and which allows Gil Cranky's boat to catch them. They catch them, they haul them off, and so the whole thing is basically a Scooby-Doo mystery. Yes, that was a Scooby-Doo mystery. And the police haul them off. They were doing some things because they were attacking. It was basically something to bring increase tourism, I guess. But what was the deal with Mal and Robin? Now Robin had a camera attached to him, was taking some pictures automatically. I'm surprised to take any pictures and be able to see anything, because the Loch Ness is supposed to be so murky you can't see any more than a few inches in front of your face. Anyway, they see two other divers down there without scuba gear, swimming in the water. They have some kind of fishy type helmets, and they were the ones who attacked them, knocking them unconscious. So then this is it said it must be the devil's children, the spawn of Black Moray. And then he tells the story of a castle on an island out in the loch. And this guy was like a devil worshiper, used black magic, had all kinds of followers with him that he enchanted, and they would attack people and cause havoc, cause problems with die-offs of sheep herds, etc. But there was a faithful monk who lived in the hills nearby, and he basically cursed Black Moray, and lightning strikes and stuff, and the whole island, castle and all, sinks beneath the waves, and it rises every 100 years on a certain night, which is coming up, and try to capture people, because anyone who is caught on the island, when it sinks again, become permanent thralls of Black Moray. And of course, they really don't believe all that hokum. But this time, now they don't have just the fishing boat, but they're hiding off. The Titans have a hydrofoil. So while Mal and Robin go diving again, what on this spot under the boat's keel? It's them. And one of the figures whirls his hand, and a whirlpool forms, bringing down the fishing boat and the captain. And unfortunately, the captain does drown, while Mal and Robin are fighting the other two. And they get to the surface. They pull the captain. The hydrofoil comes up and picks him up. And no, unfortunately, he drowned. And says, but Robin says, I tell you, said, who could do such a thing? And just questioning all what's on. And Robin says, well, while we were tussling, I got a look under the helmet of one of our attackers, and it looked like Aqualad. I go, Aqualad? Said, yeah. You must be, he's one of the original Titans. You must be mistaken. And again, the Loch Ness, waters of the Loch Ness are supposed to be so dark and murky that you cannot, I'm not just deep, at the surface too, near the surface. So dark and murky, I don't know, I've never been there, I don't know firsthand, but that's why I understand it. So dark and murky that you can't see more than just a few inches in front of your face. So the hydrofoil goes back to the pier. There's a funeral over the days, a funeral for the captain, and then they say, well, things, try to get some information, see what's going on, and they wander around the town. And meanwhile, Robin uses a payphone, and he calls a special number, which has an attachment to the transatlantic telephone cable, which was a thing then, and goes straight to the throne room of the King of Atlantis, Aquaman himself. So he speaks with Aquaman, finds out that Aqualad is, because at this time Aqualad is not an active member, remember, and that he is in Scotland going taking some classes at a university. So they go there and see him. The Titans, Mr. Jupiter, as I live and breathe, H2O. What are you all doing here? And they tell him about it and want to enlist his aid. Meanwhile, he introduces his girlfriend, named Nurka. What kind of name is Nurka? I don't know. But they are still they try and enlist his aid, but Jupiter and Robin are just a little bit suspicious. And so he goes with them to this same area where all this is taking place. He dives into the water and looking around, but unbeknownst to Aqualad, Robin had put a bug on him, a listening device. Slipped a listening device, so they can hear. So they hear him talking to somebody, and yes, there is Nurka. She is the other aquatic figure down there. And then you can see in the background here the ruins of the castle down at the bottom of the loch. And it says, "Your lips, I must have them." Neither. And he is just enraptured, ensorcelled, you might say, by this young lady. So when he comes up and says, "No, I didn't see a thing," and Kid Flash quickly locks him in irons, and he's chained to a bunk in the cabin of the boat of the hydrofoil. So we'll see what happens. So Kid Flash and Speedy are wandering around in the town, trying to see if they can get any information, while Robin and Mal are doing some diving with netting again, and Mr. Jupiter and Wonder Girl are on the boat, making sure he gets his water, so it helps to ensure he's able to breathe. The storm hits. This is the very night when the thing's supposed to happen, and Kid Flash is almost run over by a bus going by and says, "Annual boating excursion, Briarcliff School." Says, "Hey, look out!" And goes to town hall, seeing the people engaged in it's a brawl in the town hall. Meanwhile, Speedy says, "Holy cow!" It appears to be the ghost of Gil Cranky, warning him, "Be warned, laddie, that the bairns they take to the waters, or thraldom is their eternal fate." So he goes, "What the heck?" And that's at the cemetery where they just before they had buried Gil Cranky. He goes to check it out, and he finds his grave is open, his headstone is knocked over, and his coffin is missing. What the heck? Kid Flash and Speedy get back together again. Tells him what's going on, because Flash, "Oh, I know what's going on." He rushes to the boat heading out, just leaving the pier, and this has had all those school kids. He rushes out there, and he stops the boat with his and forces it back to the pier. Meanwhile, on the hydrofoil out at sea, the girl Nurka, she is on the boat. She knocks out Mr. Jupiter and clunks Wonder Girl, so she goes over the side. Oh, heck. She should be better than that. But it's just in time for Robin and Mal, who are re-entering the boat and hauling Wonder Girl, unconscious Wonder Girl, into the boat. Then they hear the bong 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 of a bell, which is supposed to be foretelling the rising of the island and castle. And there it is, the rocky island and the castle right there. And the boat is basically trapped on the island. Oh, then they see Aqualad and the girl Nurka, because she had freed him, rushing towards the castle, and there is Black Moray on the castle wall, surrounded by flashing lightning. I was cheated of so many thralls this night, but at least, I shall take the one called Aqualad to eternal enchantment, once my witch daughter brings him across the moat. Well, remember, this is a hydrofoil, and the rocks are wet, and they're still able to boost across the rocks. Mal lassos Aqualad and pulls him aboard the boat. The island is starting to submerge again, because we've got to get off the island, or we'll be trapped if the island sinks. So they splish, goes right into the wave of the crashing wave coming over the island, and they made it. And there's Aqualad, Nurka, I must go to her. So, no. And the island and castle sinks. The enchantment on Aqualad is broken. All the kids are saved, and only Duncan Gilcranky was the only casualty. And he apparently helped save them. They found out that the storm had opened a lot of graves, and found kind of like what happened in New Orleans one time, and some of the coffins were spilled around, and he was reburied. And off they go. Another case satisfactorily concluded. Oh, that was a lot of fun. What did you think of it? Did you think it was fun? You think, oh, she's pure tripe. Yes, they're all pure tripe, but they're a lot of fun. So thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think of this issue of the Teen Titans. How about this era of the Teen Titans? Do you like this era compared to the later, or is it the new Teen Titans and only them that you like? Or whatever the case may be. Let me know in the comments down below. And remember, comics are art.